Hi, this is Simon Candy from Acoustic Guitar Lessons Online.net, and in today's lesson you're going to learn some common chord extensions and embellishments. Now, chord extensions and embellishments are a great way to really spice up a chord progression, make it sound more sophisticated than what it probably actually is. And so the key here is that I'm going to show you some extensions and embellishments with shapes you already know, just common basic chord shapes. So it's not really going to be any harder to play on a technical level, but it's going to sound a whole lot different and a whole lot better. In this lesson, I take a simple chord progression and I apply a few different options that you have in terms of extensions and embellishments to it. It's going to be a progression that you probably know and will be very simple for you to play. But first, what I'll do is I'll just address single chords and how you can, some options for embellishing and extending those chords before then putting them into the chord progression. And in addition to that, I'll show you how you can create your own embellishments. That's really where the value will be, so that you can take any chord progression and make it sound a whole lot better with extensions and embellishments. So let's get to it. We're talking about voice leading. How about embellishments and extensions to our chords? We can just play, standard C and A minor and F and G chords and etc. But we can extend on these. They're just the beginning, the base, if you like. And of course, they're perfectly fine to use. But we want to broaden our horizons there. There's some very, very simple ways that you can extend on your chords. And so I'll just cover a couple of examples here, something to get you going if this is new to you. So let's just look at an A minor chord. Okay, standard A minor open chord. We can simply just take the first finger off and we've now colored that chord, if you like. We've turned it into an A suspended 2 chord just by removing the first finger. And we could be picking on that chord and we could initially have that first finger on to sound the C note, and then we could take it away. So we get a little bit of movement in the chord, a little bit of a melody component to the chord, if you like. And you've probably, if you've played guitar for a little while, you've probably done that sort of thing in a lot of songs. But it's one thing to do it in a song, it's another to be able to take that and apply it yourself to the chord progressions that you play, whether you're arranging something or writing something. If I was on a C chord, similar thing, I can take the same finger off to get a C major 7. You don't have to know that that's C major 7, you just hear a slightly different flavor of a C chord. It's still a C chord at its essence. Or we could add a finger. We could add the pinky here to the D note on the second string. That's a C add 9 chord. A few things that we could do there on the C chord. If I had an F chord, same sort of thing. I can add and take fingers away to get extensions to the chord. Also on a G chord, a lot of the time when I'm playing a G, not always, but if I'm doing some sort of extension to the chord or adding little embellishments, I'll play a very stripped down a G chord rather. So instead of this sort of 4-fingered or even 3-fingered G chord, I just use my third finger to play the G note in the bass. I block out, if I'm picking I can exclude that string, but if I'm strumming, I want to make sure I'm blocking that 5th string out with my third finger as it plays the root note. And even just that, with the open 4th, 3rd and 2nd strings, along with the root note on string 6, that's a big sounding G chord with 1 finger. And now you've got 3 fingers left to add notes and little melodic components to your chord. If you want to include the pinky on the top string, then you can do that and still have these fingers free to add little embellishments and so forth. So a chord progression that you might say something like this is just the straight chords, and G, we could add some movement. Right, those sorts of things. And there's extensions where you're kind of extending the sound of the chord, but there's the embellishing too. So on the C chord there, it's a very, very common move where you re-articulate the 3rd of the chord, being the E note, under my 2nd finger here, by taking it off, hitting the open, what you now have as the open D string, and then immediately hammering it back down on to the 3rd. Right, you can do that on the G, on the F. It doesn't have to be the 3rd. You could really do it with any note in the chord. You just take the finger off, pick the string, and then hammer it back down, and you get a nice little embellishment to the chord. So extensions to the chord and embellishments in very, very simple ways, often, simplifying a chord in terms of the mechanics of it, because you're taking fingers away sometimes to add notes. Okay, you're not going to take a note away, you're going to add a note. So for example, on the C, it might appear I'm taking a note away, which, yeah, I am. I'm taking one of the C's away, but now I have the B note in there. So that's the added flavor to the C chord there. So extensions, embellishments, I mean, any one of these topics we could take to a very, very deep level, but just touching on the surface there, and in the sort of simplest way I know to do it with standard open chord shapes.
Yeah, that's very good stuff. And if you want to really, really simplify this, the way I sort of think of embellishments and extensions is you can just go one next note in the scale up or down from any of the notes that you're playing. That is basically like a one-sentence summary of all the examples Simon described. Of course, you can do all the elaborate things as well. But if you're just really like your first time hearing about this is right now, this is how you might want to think about it, to just start doing this very, very simply and then build up to the more complex ideas from there.
If you like this video, then you'll love this Acoustic Rhythm Guitar Techniques mini course. In this course, you learn 5 ways to sound much better as a rhythm guitarist, including strumming techniques, chordal picking, rhythm riffs and fills, as well as cool sounding chords and embellishments. Over the course of 5 days, you will not only be trained in depth on each of these areas of your guitar playing, but also how to put it all together to create great sounding music. So click the link in the description below this video to gain access to the Acoustic Rhythm Guitar Techniques mini course. Let me know in the comments below what acoustic guitar topics you'd like to see covered in future videos. I'd love to hear from you. I read the comments and I do replies, so don't be shy, drop us a line. A lot of the things I have suggested to me do become videos. So if you want something, ask and you may just receive it. If you like this video, then hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and of course hit the notification bell button so YouTube can tell you when I've released a new video, which is every single week. Thank you so much for being here. This is Simon Candy from AcousticGuitarLessonsOnline.net. As always, I really do appreciate you taking the time to check out my videos. I hope they help you out, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.